Story 1. AITA for telling my friend that I think his girlfriend is about to leave him. I, 30, F, am friends with Ruby, F30, and Tom, M31. We met at uni and were part of the same group of friends. They got together in our final year. After uni, Tom and I started work. Ruby did masters while working. Her and Tom moved in together. After masters, Ruby landed a very good job and Tom decided to quit his. Apparently, she wasn't happy but let it go. Ruby and I were best friends, but after graduation she became boring. While me and Tom would have a drink or two in their garden, she would study or work and drifted apart. Recently, Ruby has been more distanced. When I come over and Tom and I sit in the garden, she doesn't even join us. She does her own stuff. She barely acknowledges us, but Tom doesn't see an issue. I tried to tell him but he said it's fine, at least she doesn't bother him while gaming anymore. She's lost a lot of weight lately. She's gained it because of her thyroid, and has just been focusing on herself. I tried inviting her to have a drink with us but she always refuses. Frankly, I think she's taken adulting way too seriously. Last Saturday, I was out with some friends and we're doing a pub crawl. At one, I noticed Ruby having a drink with her friends. I didn't know she had any, and she was her old self, laughing, having fun, cracking jokes. She was the life of a party. I didn't know any of these people and I suspected Tom didn't either. I texted Tom and he said he's busy with a game and we'll talk later. I couldn't let it go. She went outside with her friend and I followed them. It was crowded so she didn't notice me and I kind of eavesdropped on them. That I was lucky because they're talking about her plans and it seems that she's planning on leaving Tom. She's sick of him not working and ignoring her but been stuck because he doesn't work. She saved money for herself and saved a few months' money for him so when she leaves, he can have money to live off. I couldn't believe my ears. What a BTCH. She said she's got her ticket and house sorted but she saw me before saying more. She looked at me with disgust, didn't even acknowledge me and she switched to another language with her friend. I got a taxi and went straight to Tom's telling him what I hear. He told me to stop being silly. I told him that he should consider what to do so she stays and he said she has no reason to leave. We played some games and got a bit more drunk. I stayed on their sofa and didn't know when Ruby came home. I was woken up by Ruby at 2 p.m., and she called me an asshole amongst other names, kicked me out of the house, telling me to never come again. She was pissed because Tom confronted her about leaving. She told me to not meddle and I told her he has a right to know if she's going to leave and has a chance to make things right. Was I really in her wrong for telling him? I mean, we used to be friends but I don't think I have any obligation to her, but I am not sure. Am I really the asshole for warning him? I thought he deserved that. Comments. He's happy thought, that's why I think he has a right to know. Edit. He said that the only issue they've ever had is her nagging him constantly but that's been sorted and she stopped and he's happier than ever. He helps around the house. He suggested a child a few years back so he could be stay-at-home dad but she refused. So he's been helping with chores. He's not just sitting around gaming. Update in post. Update, shit has hit the fan. Last night, Tom knocked on my door crying. She kicked him out. They were talking and he was beginning for her to stay. He offered to find a part-time job and do more around the house, but she wouldn't listen to him and didn't care that he wanted to try. She said she's leaving in 2 weeks' time. He asked where and if they could meet and work on things while leaving separately, but she's moving abroad. She asked him to go and stay someplace else while she is packing and he can move back in once she leaves. She told him she had money saved up for him so he'll have time to find job. He asked her if he could get them now since he has to go someplace else to stay and she said absolutely not. She also said that because of that, him asking her, she wasn't going to give him money for 6 months as she initially planned but only for 3 months because he only cares about money. So he is not staying at mine because he doesn't have money to stay elsewhere for 2 weeks and she wouldn't even give him a penny. He has his debit card, they had a joint account and she had a separate one, but she's transferred all but £100. That's all he has for 2 weeks. As you can see, she's not the saint you guys make her up to be. Tom is heartbroken and all she cares is money and her move. She doesn't care how he feels or if he has a place to stay for the 2 weeks. Story 2. AITB for refusing to divorce my husband update. AITA mod said this was too relationship related, so here I am. Throwaway because once discussion is over I want it gone without having to delete the post. I, 30F, met my husband, Dave, 32M, when we were little. He's been my best friend since we were 10. We were raised in very conservative Christian families in the Bible Belt. We followed the script expected of us, dated in HS, engaged in college, married after his graduation, and kids after I established a career. Kids are 5 and 3. We've been married 10 years. We separated but stayed legally married 3.5 years ago because I finally admitted to him/myself that I'm a lesbian. I thought that I could fake it till I make it, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It was strained for a while and we continued couples therapy. Ultimately we both wanted to do the best for our kids. For us, that meant continuing to live together. He lives in the apartment above our detached garage, because neither of us wanted to be single parents. Eventually we both started dating other people and I met my GF, Krista, 1.5 years ago. She knew I had kids and an unconventional, co-parenting arrangement up front, and I told her I was still legally married after 6 months of dating. She had been fine with our living/co-parenting style prior to this, but was less than thrilled by my lack of official divorce. She asked if divorce was eventual, and I told her yes. Dave and I agreed we'd divorce when it no longer was mutually beneficial to remain married, i.e., a new potential spouse. The longer Krista and I were together, the more my being married bothered her. She feels remaining married symbolizes I'm subconsciously clinging to my straight identity and is a barrier to moving on my life, which I mildly disagree with but understand. She does not want to get married, and had voiced the opinion that it was just a piece of paper, so I'm surprised it's become such a big deal. I agreed 4 months ago that I would bring it up with Dave and set a timeline for divorce by the end of this year to make her happy. 2 months ago Dave's company downsized his job, and a week later he found out his increasing fatigue and illness was aggressive leukemia. He's undergoing treatment that is estimated to be 10% effective in cases like his, and they told him to consider that this might be terminal. If the treatment fails, they've given him 6 months, 1 year. For Krista this changes nothing. For me, divorcing Dave now would be unconscionable and would make what is potentially his final months even harder than they have to be. Whether she likes it or not, he's the father of my children and my oldest friend. To force the issue while he's fighting for his life would be incredibly selfish and damaging to both him and our kids. She's telling me that not only am I regressing into denial about my sexuality by refusing to bring it up again, but also that I'm already a selfish asshole by leading her on, and that I want the best of both worlds by remaining married to a man while continuing to date a woman.